Look, it's not a secret anymore. If you want clients in 2026, you're running ads. Meta, TikTok, Google, whatever works for your niche. But here's what nobody tells you. The wrong bank, the wrong card, the wrong payment processor that can shut your growth down overnight. I've seen it happen. A client running $50,000 in ads. Suddenly their Stripe gets frozen. Their Mercury account goes under review. Why? Because their business structure didn't match what they were doing. Today, I'm breaking down the 6 most common business structures my clients use to double their e-com business, and to understand when to use each one, and which one can cost you your ad accounts, your banking, and your business. If you're new to my channel, my name is Jerz. I've spent more than 20 years in the offshore and international relocation space, helping people find greater freedom and build lives on their own terms. First, the basics. You've got 2 main choices. An LLC, pass-through taxation. The company doesn't pay taxes. Income passes through to you. Flexible, simple, lower maintenance, perfect for solopreneurs, e-commerce operators, consultants, freelancers. A C corporation, separate tax entity. The company pays its own taxes, currently 21% federal, can issue stock, multiple share classes, preferred shares, required if you're raising institutional capital or planning to sell the company. Here's the rule. If you're raising from VCs or building toward acquisition, you need a C-Corp. If you're operating and keeping profits, an LLC is usually better. Now, which state? Wyoming is where we start most clients. Wyoming LLC can be formed within 24 hours by us. We don't use a middleman. We have our own offices in Wyoming, operating with our own team, delivering everything to the state. 0 state income tax. No franchise tax. Strongest privacy protection in the US. Your name stays off public records. Strongest asset protection. Wyoming's charging order protection is the best in the country. Now, who's this for? Well, this is for international entrepreneurs who need US payment processing and they are not residents in the United States. E-commerce sellers, SaaS founders, contractors, online business. Anyone who needs Stripe, PayPal, or Wise Business and doesn't have a US presence. We had a client running a digital marketing business from Portugal. He needed to accept US payments, run meta ads, and look legit to American clients. Wyoming LLC. Done in a day. Banking set up within 2 weeks. Now we have Wyoming C-Corp. Same benefits. No state corporate income tax, no franchise tax, low costs. But you get the corporate structure, can issue stock, bring on investors. Now, Delaware. This is the most recognized jurisdiction in the US. Over 68% of Fortune 500 companies are incorporated here. Delaware LLC. Can be done in 1 to 7 days. No state income tax for non-residents. Strong privacy, no public disclosure of members, over a century of established business law. Why Delaware over Wyoming for an LLC? Honestly, for most people, there's not a huge difference. Delaware has brand recognition. Some banks and partners just feel better when they see Delaware. But Wyoming has better privacy and no franchise tax. Delaware C-Corp. This is where Delaware really matters. If you're raising venture capital, this is what investors expect. Delaware C-Corp can issue preferred stock and multiple share classes required for most VC deals. Established corporate case law that investors and attorneys trust. VCs have their documents pre-written for Delaware Core. Real example. A client came to us building a fintech product. They were pre-revenue, but talking to angel investors. We set them up as a Delaware C-Corp because that's what investors wanted to see on the cap table. No friction, no why isn't this Delaware questions. The catch? Franchise tax. If you authorize millions of shares, which startups do, it can jump to $4,000 plus. Florida is different. 3rd largest economy in the US. Over 22 million residents. Florida LLC can be done in 1 to 3 days. No state income tax on individuals or pass-through entities. Large domestic market access. Solid asset protection. No franchise tax on LLCs. Who's this for? If you're actually doing business in Florida. If your customers are in the US and you want a presence in a major market, real estate investors love Florida LLCs for holding properties. Florida C-Corp, here's the key difference. Florida has a 5.5% corporate tax on income over $50,000. That's the trade-off for a physical US presence, but strong banking access. Major banks work easily with Florida Core. Payment processors, ad accounts, merchant services, all smooth. If you need domestic substance and you're operating in the US, Florida makes sense. So now you understand everything. Let me make this simple. Digital business, international founder. Need US payments? Wyoming LLC, done in 24 hours. Clean private, no state taxes. Building for investors, raising capital? Delaware C-Corp. It's what VCs expect. Yes, there's franchise tax budget for it. Early stage startup, one investor ready, but cost conscious? Wyoming C-Corp. Same capabilities, no franchise tax, US-based operations, Florida customers, need substance? Florida LLC or Florida C-Corp, depending on your tax planning. Privacy is your #1 priority. Wyoming, strongest protections, period. And here's what most people miss. The structure you choose affects what banks and payment processors approve you for. I've seen people get denied for Stripe Atlas because their structure didn't match their business model. I've seen ad accounts frozen because their corporation was in the wrong state for what they claimed they were doing. This isn't just about taxes. It's about operational infrastructure. Now, everything we covered today is US domestic structures. But if you're truly building a global business, there's another layer. In the next episode, we're going to explain Panama SA for asset protection, Paraguay EAS for tax residency, BVI, Dubai Free Zone, Hong Kong, Cyprus, Malta, Nevis. When each one makes sense, that's where the real global sovereignty system comes together. US operational layer on one side, offshore asset protection on the other. Subscribe so you don't miss it. And if you are still unsure which structure fits your situation, that's what we're here for. Book a free consultation with our team down in the description. We'll look at your business model, your banking needs, your tax situation, and tell you exactly what structure makes sense. Plan B is dead, structure is the future.